The president informed us that he will not sign the bill that came over from the Senate last evening because of his legitimate concerns for border security. What we're going to do is go back to the House and work with our members. We want to keep the government open, but we also want to see an agreement that protects the border.
Back with me are Jennifer Rubin and joining us writer and commentator Anousheh Hossain. Anousheh, you know, I'm old enough to remember Tip O'Neill. Okay, that's how old I am. Where are the Tip O'Neills? Because I cannot imagine Tip O'Neill saying, I cannot put anything on the floor because Ronald Reagan doesn't want to sign it. I mean, there are jealously guarded prerogatives that most House speakers style themselves. They are third in line to the White House. Yes. They are a powerful entity in and of themselves. This speaker says, you know, if my boss, Donald Trump, won't do it, I can't even put it on the floor? Yeah. Where is his ego?
Where is his ego, Joy? You know, Ryan's legacy is ultimately going to be accepting Donald Trump's sexism, racism, and corruption. Do you remember this man was once considered the future of the GOP?
They were going to run him for president.
Today, he is leaving Washington a failure. I mean, can I just quote Ariana Grande? Thank you, next. Thank you, next. I mean, if you just glance at the op-eds that are circulating online, conservative, liberal, even his home state papers are labeling him a political loser and failure and disappointment. I mean, I'm embarrassed for him.
Can we just play? I want to play a little bit of a sound mashup for you ladies of Paul Ryan, who tried to sort of get it out there that he disagreed with the style of Donald Trump. Obviously, he agreed with all the substance because he put it all through. But here he is trying to sort of artfully dance away from the things that Donald Trump has said that were offensive.
I typically don't quote or comment on the tweet of the hour. I didn't see his interview. I've decided I'm not going to comment on the tweets of the day or the hour. I haven't seen them all, to be candid with you. Did he tweet about that? I don't read that stuff. All this stuff you see on a daily basis on Twitter this and Twitter that, forget about it. Every morning, I wake up in my office and I scroll Twitter to see which tweets that I to pretend that I did not see later on.
That was actually the most accurate thing he ever said.
That was
because pretending he doesn't notice Donald Trump seems to have been his main job.
This is the definition of cowardice. He does not have the nerve to say when Donald Trump says something outrageous. And it's not simply off the wall. This man is head of a country.
Nazis are good, have contained good people.
He is the commander-in-chief. President's words matter. You know who used to say that? President's words matter? Republicans like Paul Ryan. So the notion that what he says doesn't matter is bizarre. Besides which, it's not just what he says, it's been what he does.
Yes.
The child separation policy, running up the debt, pulling the rug out from under our allies, picking fights with our allies, starting a trade war. These are all things that Republicans like Paul Ryan used to stand up for. But he is now a quivering little boy waiting for instructions from Papa Trump, because he has no spine. He has no ability to differentiate himself from Donald Trump. He sees perhaps his future, he's a young man, his future with the far right and the cesspool of talk radio.
Is that where he wants to be?
Yeah. And you know, who knows? He is, I think at this point, so far from whatever he used to believe, he probably doesn't even know what he believes.
His ideological convictions, are in tatters. I mean, and you know what's sad?
But are they, though? Because, listen, what his ideological convictions seem to have been is privatizing Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid, or getting rid of them, and passing massive tax cuts for the very rich. He did the latter.
He did, and you know what? His tax bill, which Ryan calls his greatest achievement, is considered one of the biggest special interest giveaways in modern
history. And placed us in $1 trillion debt.
And that used to be his other major concern. The danger of the debt. He would write about the debt. He would write white papers. He would speak about the debt. We're gunning for a debt crisis. We can't be on this trajectory, on and on. And he has left more debt than any Speaker of the House. And he has gone along with us because he never had the nerve to say no. And he never had the nerve to go across the aisle and say to Nancy Pelosi, what can we come up with on a bipartisan basis that would actually help the country?
But you know,
that nonsense he's talking about there, where he says, why can't we get beyond politics? It's because he would not get beyond on
do
Fox.
it.
Yeah, and Nancy has no time for him either. You know, when they asked asked her what she thought about his farewell speech, she was like,
I don't know him.
I didn't have time to watch. I had other things to do.
I don't know him. Can we just play? So John Boehner was not great at being speaker. I think a lot of people would assess that he had a lot of heart. He couldn't really wrangle the so-called Freedom Caucus, the Tea Partiers. But here was his farewell speech. By the way, this was after he brokered a deal to avert a government shutdown.
Exactly.
On his way out the door. The one thing you can say he did get done. Here is John Boehner.
I'm just as grateful to Ms. Pelosi, Mr. Hoyer, Mr. Clyburn, Becerra, and others for all of the work that we've done together. And over these last 5 years, we've done an awful lot of work together, probably more work done across the aisle over the last 5 years than in the 25 years that I've served in this institution.
You know, I can recall saying to friends that John Boehner would have had more power in a way had he just said to his Freedom Caucus, whatever, the Tea Partiers, if you don't give me the votes, I'm going to go over there, and I'm going to ask that lady. I'm going to ask Leader Pelosi, and she's going to give me the votes. So you either give me the votes, or I'll just get them from Democrats. Why don't Republicans ever do that?
It's funny. They are still hiding behind a rule, which is a made-up rule, named after a child molester. The Hastert. You'd think they would at least get smart enough to change the name of the rule.
Rebrand.
But they still enforce that. And that is the notion that it has to be a majority of your party before you put something on the floor. You know what? The Speaker of the House is the only elected member of leadership in either body that is of the House, of the entire body. You have majority leaders, minority leaders in the Senate. He is Speaker of the House, of the entire House.
That's right.
He does not understand his job description. No. He thinks he's leader of Donald Trump's core political base.
It is a sense in which Paul Ryan has seemed to serve Donald Trump rather than lead anything, let alone the House of Representatives.
Yeah, and do you remember he wasn't, I mean, it went from like, touching Donald Trump to basically being like, whatever you want. I mean, and the sad thing about Ryan is he's only 48. What are his career perspectives?
I'm sure the Koch brothers have a position, maybe waiting for him in Wisconsin. I don't know, but it is bizarre. We think of the Article I power as an incredibly powerful body of government. Mitch McConnell certainly wields his power with abandon and doesn't have any problem doing it. It's weird that Paul Ryan never tried, but he's on his way out, so we'll wish him well.
Thank you. Next,
Jennifer Rubin and Nousheh Hossain. And